Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Kanai-san. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to discuss INPEX Corporation's role in carbon capture, utilization, and storage, as well as the broader context of Japan's net zero goal. So, to start, how does INPEX Corporation envision the role of carbon capture, utilization, and storage in achieving Japan's net zero goals? And what is INPEX's long-term strategies in this area?
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. And actually, INPEX is a upstream oil and gas company, and we got some expertise for the subsurface related business. And CCS is definitely relevant to subsurface, and nobody can do CCS chain without that. And INPEX, as I mentioned, as an upstream company, we believe that at first we need to supply oil and gas with cleaner way. And the first thing we can do is, for instance, to remove the scope 1 and scope 2 CO2 and put that CO2 into the subsurface as CCS. So this should be or must be done for the future, especially natural gas development in the world. And INPEX believe that all the natural gas development in future needs to be accompanied with CCS. And however, as you know, the CCS is just a cost at this moment.
Yes.
So far, nobody has to do that.
Yes.
Therefore, the point is how we minimize the cost for the CCS. And one of the approaches is to make it bigger. Therefore, if we make the CCS bigger, I mean to enjoy the scale merit, and then we need more CO2 to achieve that. That means in addition to our own CO2, we need to bring CO2 from outside of the project. So that concept can be called as a kind of CCS hub. And this CO2 could be a factory close to that facility, I mean the natural gas facility, or could be a big industrial area in that country or outside of that country. So that's the starting point of the CCS. And in future, further beyond that, as people say that blue hydrogen or blue ammonia, they need to put the CO2, which is a byproduct of the blue hydrogen.
Yes.
And this CO2 can be sequestrated. For that purpose, CCS is still required. Therefore, as INPEX, as a kind of upstream company, we consider that first things to do is to make the natural gas development cleaner as a license to operate, and move on to the CCS hub business, and in future, the supply of the clean energy to the world. So that's the big strategy of INPEX.
Thank you, Kanai-san, for sharing us with the storyline and vision of INPEX Cooperation. I'm really impressed by the circular carbon economy that you just mentioned and the future prospect that INPEX is targeting at. So, in terms of the collaboration, as we all know, that INPEX has collaborated with various countries and companies in the Asia-Pacific region. So, how do you see the role of international collaborations in accelerating the deployment of CCUS? And what future cooperation do you envision on this horizon?
Yes, this is a very good point that because CCS is not a kind of independent business. It consists of different sectors like CO2 capture, CO2 transportation, and CO2 injection to the subsurface. In addition to that, all the relevant stakeholders like government and also the residents or citizens in that area. Therefore, lots of collaborations are required. And as for the CCS value chain, I actually mentioned in the panel discussion, the difficult point is that chain must be a kind of, it needs a final investment decision at the same time for the whole value chain. Means, for instance, the capture section cannot make a decision without transportation and injection.
Yes.
Therefore, very, very difficult, which means collaboration between parties are quite important. And in order to do that, come back to my previous point, the CCS is just a cost at this moment.
Yes.
We need some incentives for moving forward. Then the government support it should be required. For instance, a kind of subsidy to make it happen, and also like public acceptance and the understanding of the business, so that the citizens or the local people should understand this is what we really have to do. So that kind of stuff is required, means lots of collaboration with different stakeholders.
Yes, we have to do a facilitated cooperation within the supply chain, and
Yes.
also the regional collaboration is also a key consideration for the industry. So let's zoom in and to specifically look at the Asia Pacific region. So could you please share with us how this INPEX plan to enhance the regional cooperation in CCUS, and what role do you see Japan and the INPEX playing in fostering the cross-border collaboration for CCUS development in our Asia or Asia Pacific region?
Yeah, thank you. I'm really happy that you mentioned about Asia Pacific because the distance from Japan is quite important. Therefore, Asia Pacific should be the kind of limit for transporting CO2 from Japan, if I consider the CO2 from Japan. And there are lots of possibilities over there, and I believe that IEA reported a significant amount of CCS needs to be performed for the Asia Pacific region, because differently from like Europe, that in Asia, especially Southeast Asia and Asia, East Asia, we still need to keep using hydrocarbon like natural gas. Therefore, we can't switch to the renewable hydrogen quickly at this moment. Therefore, still CCS is a viable option. And for that purpose, INPEX would like to take advantage of our expertise for the CCS. However, it cannot be done just by a single company. And at this moment, I think government to government discussion is quite important. And therefore, I'm quite happy that it was mentioned in the ASEC last week in Laos. That CCS is one of the options. And as far as government is understanding, then we need to set up the scheme and set up the regulation and set up the system for the liabilities and things like that between two countries. Then a private company should be ready to discuss how much we should be able to spend money on that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Kakanori-san.
Yes.
I think the achievement of the successful story of CCUS deployment couldn't be achieved by a single private company or just the private sector. It should have the synergies from both public and private sector. So speaking of the support from the public sector, how do you think the government policies and regulations can be improved to encourage more investment and technology innovations from both sectors?
Yeah. And at first, I would like to mention that in Japan, CCS business law was enacted this May. This is a big achievement, and I really appreciate that by the government. Therefore, domestically, it's ready. And the next step is, as I said, that bilateral discussion between government and so that I may repeat the things that liabilities and things like that need to be clarified, and also the public acceptance should be also how can I say understood and fully how can I say public acceptance needs to be achieved or between the countries. For instance, if Japan wants to take the CO2 to another country, and that country may say that, oh, why we need to accept Japan's kind of waste to our country, and I don't want to avoid that situation because we only have one single atmosphere on the face of the earth. Therefore, reducing CO2 should be a good thing for everybody. And for that purpose, I would like government at least agree the protocol between the two countries for the CO2 transportation. And also, somebody said in the panel discussion, educate is maybe a different word, but educate or enlighten or try to make people understand this is what we have to do. And of course, as private sectors, we do all the advertisement and the discussion at the local discussion and things like that. But in addition to that, I would like government to show the kind of flag that oh, this is good to us and we have to go for it.
Yes, thank you, Kagano-san. As what you just mentioned, the CCUS Act, which was launched in this May, is actually set a great significance for its industry, both domestically and internationally. So I'm actually curious, how has Japan's current CCUS policy framework helped the private companies such as INPEX Corporations in advancing a CCUS project, and what specific elements of the policy has been most beneficial for your initiatives and projects?
Yeah. At this moment, we appreciate the current system because government decided the design activities from this year for 3 years to be 100% supported by the government. Means we can take advantage of the subsidy to perform all the stuff. And actually, there was a feasibility study last year, and the INPEX was also involved in the feasibility study, similarly to the current one. And because of that, I think INPEX can move forward. And during this moving forward, for instance, during the discussion with the local people, this is not the kind of INPEX own purpose only. This is a kind of national project. Therefore, as far as we are funded 100%, we can talk to all the relevant stakeholders. This is what Japan wants to do, which is quite different from just done by INPEX or private sectors, as you know. So that's the main element. However, we understand this support is only for 3 years before FID. And the older support scheme is not clarified yet at this moment after FID. However, in order to make the final investment decision, we need to know how much support we may be able to get. Therefore, I would like government to make the decision or please clarify what will be coming after 3 years as far as possible so that we can be ready for it.
Yes, I think this is also the consideration for a lot of companies like INPEX, and we look forward for its continued impact of this policy and its proceedings.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your invaluable insights shared with us today, Mr. Kagano-san. I think it's really encouraging to see INPEX's commitment to CCUS and this really pivotal role in Japan's journey towards net zero. And I appreciate your time. I look forward to the following progress of your project and initiatives.
Thank you very much.